Welcome, Dolphins fans, haters, and everyone in between to your favorite show discussing the greatest franchise in sports, the Miami Dolphins. This is the PhinsPod. My name is Moose, your host, and today we're back at it with the second edition of the PhinsPod Mock Draft 2.0. And just like last time, we're going to be running through all 32 teams in the first round. And you will love some of the picks and straight up hate me for some others. This is going to look a bit different from the last version of the mock draft. So if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link to that here if you're watching on YouTube. But without further ado, let's dive in.
Here's my thing, Max. I'm willing to give him a chance and believe in him. Just tell me you're going to get him the requisite weapons, okay? Mm-hmm. Because Gesicki and Parker, these brothers may be able to play. Nobody's calling them scrubs by any stretch of the imagination, but nobody's calling them all world either. I think when we hear about this guy Pitts out of Florida, who's your tight end, he's a generational kind of talent. Once in a decade that you get a talent like this playing tight end. I think that if you're the Dolphins and you really, really want to secure the future of Tua, you've got to get him weapons like that.
With the first pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Trevor Lawrence. This is locked in. He's got all the physical tools, his film backed it up at Clemson, and he played against the toughest competition. Yes, it was the ACC, but he saw the SEC and Ohio State whenever he got Clemson into the playoffs, so he did play at the highest level and showed out. It's a no-brainer. Now, personally, I still prefer Zach Wilson over him. His recent comments, speaking of Trevor Lawrence here, about his overall commitment to the game or lack thereof, concern me. Look, the greats over time don't ever really talk like that. I never heard Tom Brady say he could walk away from the game tomorrow and be fine. I mean, he's still playing at 42 years of age and isn't slowing down, unfortunately. I don't think Michael Jordan was ever really willing to walk away. I mean, those aren't really comments you want to hear from your top pick and a guy you want to change the franchise. It shows that, yeah, he's great. Everything's kind of been easy for him. But now it's not going to be. So, hey, good luck in Duval, Trevor. And with the second pick, the trash New York Jets select Zach Wilson. This is a no-brainer for another reason. Wilson has the athleticism, pocket presence, arm talent, and most importantly, accuracy to elevate an offense. He's going to struggle early. I mean, hell, he'll be playing for the Jets. But this is a good pick for New York, tragically. And so far, nothing has changed at 1 and 2. And this is where we're going to mix things up a bit. Last time, purely based on Adam Schefter, not any film or any actual rationale, we had Mac Jones going at pick number 3 to San Francisco by way of the Dolphins, who traded with them a few weeks back. But at pick 3, the Niners select Trey Lance. And I know Justin Fields just had his second pro day, and it was clear that both he and Shanahan were digging each other. There was definitely a bromance going on. Not to mention, Fields looked smooth. He did look good. Strong, accurate in his second pro day appearance. And yeah, it's a pro day and doesn't mean much, but at the very least, you want to see the guy look good to great. And Fields did do that. He made all the throws, clearly was catering his performance to the Kyle Shanahan system, even changed his stance to fit what Kyle likes, moving his left foot back rather than how he traditionally played with the right. So he's clearly making a pitch. But look, Lance is the guy here, in my opinion. Look at the film. Trey Lance is faster, has a naturally better arm, considering he's still much rawer, but his arm is better. Much rawer, God, which is going to get stronger. His arm's going to get stronger over time, and he does play with far more aggression and decisiveness than Fields does. And look, you give Kyle Shanahan Trey Lance, have him sit a year and let Jimmy keep things rolling, Jimmy Garoppolo, then I think the Niners are going to explode over the next few years once Lance gets in there and is ready. They could honestly be the Chiefs of the NFC. Lance genuinely has that much talent. At pick number 4, the Atlanta Falcons will once again make a trade, but this time not with the Patriots. No, they're going to move back just 5 spots and trade with the Denver Broncos at pick number 9. The Broncos, since they suck at evaluating quarterback talent, and yes, I know there's a new administration up there, but still, the Broncos probably have Fields rated higher on their board, so they'll happily move up here and select him at the 4th overall pick. I think a good move for them. Drew Lock clearly showed he was not it, unfortunately, even though I was pretty high on him and still think he can develop. So if they don't take a quarterback and roll another year with him, I wouldn't be opposed, and I think the Broncos could still turn things around. But in this situation, they have Fields rated very highly. He falls to 4, and we have quarterbacks going 1, 2, 3, 4. At pick number 5, the Cincinnati Bengals select, once again, Jamar Chase. It's still a dumb pick for them, and that's why they're going to do it here again. I mean, Penei, Sewell, or hell, even Rashawn Slater, who I did forget in the last mock draft. I apologize. The comment section did make me remember that. It was a dumb on my part. But if the Bengals take Penei, Sewell, or even Rashawn Slater, it would be great for them. But I just think the dreams of selling Chase and Burrow jerseys like hotcakes is going to be too hard for the Bengals ownership to pass up on. So there's definitely going to be a little push to reunite the LSU couple there. And look, they're all about the bottom line up there in Cincinnati. And the moment now that we have all been waiting for, the Miami Dolphins, with the 6th pick in the NFL draft, select Micah freaking Parsons. And I know you guys are maybe a little confused right now, and some of you may be a little upset with me, so hold on. Listen. I've said this before, and I don't think it can be understated. The Dolphins traded back up from 12 a few weeks back. In doing so, they gave up a 2022 first-round pick from the 49ers, a potential very, very valuable asset. Hell, if they even win the Super Bowl next year, and it's pick number 32, it's still a good extra pick to have. That is still a valuable pick. So they gave that up to move up to 6. And yes, I know some of you look at this as still a net positive, which when you break it down, it is a net positive. They moved back 3 to 6, gained a first round. But don't deny that whoever is selected at 6 was worth 2 first-round picks in the eyes of the Dolphins front office. And that's not necessarily a good or bad thing, not yet, but it's just the truth. Whoever they take at 6, if they do, is worth 2 first-round picks in their eyes. You know, they could make the move, and it could prove very fruitful, and they nab an awesome player who's totally worth the move up, and in a few years we'll be like, yeah, easily worth those 2 first-round picks. Or the guy they take at 6 has a meh career, and we all look back at what could have been. It's just the reality of the situation. So with those stakes in mind, look at the players who are available, who are 1, elite talents, both physically and on film, as well as 2, perfect scheme fits. This is the type of guy I think is worth moving up for, an elite physical talent and a perfect scheme fit. Last time, I had the Dolphins taking Kyle Pitts, and he's still on the board here. Definitely a generational talent who fits that description I just mentioned. If not him, then who else could be an option here? And in my opinion, even if Jamar Chase is on the board, 2 firsts is a steep price there. Maybe not for some of you, but it is 2 first-round picks. And the same goes for DeVonta Smith, Jaylen Waddle, and even Penei Sewell, considering those investments that have already been made along the offensive line for Miami. So let's turn the page and look defense. And there's a name that just pops off the board here, and it's Micah Parsons. He's exactly what the Dolphins defense needs to become the top unit in the league. Remember Ray Lewis and the Ravens? I think Micah Parsons could genuinely have that impact over years. He can stay on the field for all 3 downs. He can play the mic, general interior linebacker, or honestly, wherever you want him along the front 7, because he is that versatile. You want him to pick up a running back or a tight end? He's got it. Want him to shoot the gap and stuff a running play before it even begins? It's not a problem for the 6'3", 240-pound freak who runs a 4.39. Yes, a 4.39 40-yard dash. He's got that running play covered. And don't even get me started on how he performs as a blitzing linebacker. The combinations that Josh Boyer and Brian Flores can concoct with him, Jerome Baker, it's limitless. Parsons can run stunts with interior defensive linemen. He can take on guards as well as centers, exterior pass rushers, take on tackles and chipping tight ends, and even a blitzing corner. You can do combinations of blitzes from the edge there. He's a missile with no regard for human life. So to be completely honest, it would not be a bad move for the Dolphins to take Micah Parsons, considering he could very well become their version of Dont'a Hightower. Hightower single-handedly helped them win championships up there in New England, and Parsons could be that guy for the Dolphins. You remember Isaiah Simmons last year from Clemson and how we were all super into him last draft season? Well, Micah Parsons is a significantly better prospect as an NFL linebacker, in my humble and very uneducated opinion. So what do you guys think of the Parsons pick here? Happy? Pissed? Let us know in the comments if you're watching on YouTube or on Twitter at PhinsPod. Next up, at pick number 7, we have the Lions. And Dan Campbell was a former tight end in the NFL himself. He understands their value. And I know that the Lions just took TJ Hawkinson in the first, so taking another tight end here would be potentially historic and arguably near malfeasance. But Kyle Pitts isn't just a regular tight end, and he is too good to let go here and too good to just pass up. He can help their entire offense and be a safety blanket for Jared Goff, and I think Dan Campbell will see that. And hey, if us Dolphins fans know anything, it's that Jared Goff occasionally does need a blankie. At pick number 8, the Panthers select Penei Sewell, same as last time, help support Sam Darnold, and honestly, Penei Sewell at 8, that's a great value. At pick 9, the Falcons traded back with the Broncos here. They take Rashawn Slater. It's a smart pick. Considering the bevy of assets that they also just got from the Broncos, they can now focus on building up their roster and try to build from inside out and make a bit of a run with Matty Ice. So Rashawn Slater here as a tackle is a great fit. At pick number 10, things still stay in the same. Cowboys select Patrick Surtain, cornerback from Alabama. Nothing really is changing. I think Surtain is going to be a good Cowboy if he does go there. The need is there. His talent is clear. And the Cowboys like Bama boys. So Surtain is a good fit here. It sucks to see the son of a legend, Pat Surtain Sr., former Dolphin great, become a freaking Cowboy. But hey, he'll be able to shine for Jerry Jones, and he'll definitely help the Surtain name live on. At pick number 11, the NFC East continues on with the Giants selecting DeVonta Smith, wide receiver, Alabama. Daniel Jones does need more help. He's limited as a quarterback, and yes, they did just sign Kenny Golladay to help with that, and they're going to be getting Saquon Barkley back. But DeVonta Smith is a really good option here, and passing him up will be difficult. If things do shake out right for the young man, he very well could be the best player in this entire class, and this could just be a steal for the G-men. Rounding up the 3 trash teams of the NFC East, the Eagles select Jaylen Waddle from Alabama, still staying the same. The Eagles are going to take an offensive weapon here, unless maybe Micah Parsons, if he falls. I think he would be a good help for them defensively. And, overall, I think Jaylen Waddle is a solid pick here, one of the most explosive wideouts in the country, so I think Philly will be happy. At 13, the Chargers select Christian Darrisaw, Virginia Tech tackle. They need to continue to protect Justin Herbert, who showed out last year. That's undeniable. So if you want him to progress and not take a step back, you want to help give him a good offensive line, and Darrisaw is a great option there. At pick number 14, the Vikings select Kwity Paye, edge player from Michigan. The Vikings need to bolster their defensive line and specifically that pass rush. And Kwity Paye is explosive and could honestly become a TJ Watt type with his explosiveness and instincts as a player. That flashed at Michigan. He's a great athlete. So the pick here at 14 is Kwity Paye from Michigan. At 15, the Patriots, who have not moved up, thank God, but still are going to hurt our hearts here, select Jaelan Phillips, defensive end from Miami. And this one stings. Jaelan Phillips is a damn good defensive end. And injury concerns aside, which are concerning, don't get me wrong, concussions, which are his problem, aren't something to mess around with. But if he can protect himself and stay healthy and things do go well, Phillips will shine under Bill Belichick. He's a perfect scheme fit, which is why I mocked him to Miami in the last version. So the Pats will happily roll the dice on Jaelan Phillips. At pick 16, the Cardinals select J.C. Horn, corner for South Carolina. Sticking with the same pick here, the Cardinals need to replace Patrick Peterson, and Horn is that physical corner who fills a clear and obvious need. At 17, the Raiders select Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, linebacker from Notre Dame. The Raiders need help on defense. Everyone knows that. And Owusu-Koramoah can play as a jack linebacker, move all around the field, help in run support, coverage, as well as on special teams early on in his career. He's got a really good motor, and he's athletic as hell with high upside physically. So definitely a Mike Mayock pick and an overall area of need for the Vegas Raiders. Back to our boys now. The Dolphins are on the clock at pick 18. And yes, they went defense at 6. So now they're going to select Rashad Bateman, wide receiver from Minnesota. No lie, though, I think this would be an amazing first-round haul for Miami. Rashad Bateman has an incredibly high ceiling, great route runner, smooth after the catch. He becomes a dynamic runner with the ball in his hands. And if you don't believe me, I encourage you to check out some of his highlights at Minnesota. He fills the need at wideout for the Fins, and he's a great value here at 18. Miami would leave having upgraded both their arsenal of pass catchers for Tua. Bateman can play on the outside or in the slot, and they can also provide their defense with some real teeth on the inside. Bateman would be the move for me here if the board fell this way and Miami hadn't nabbed a skill player earlier in the draft. At pick 19, the football team selects Trevon Moehrig, safety from TCU. Now that Washington has some Fitzmagic as well as one of the best defensive lines in the game, getting the best pure safety in the class isn't a bad move. The back end of the defense could use it, and Moehrig can play free safety, help in the nickel or on tight ends, as well as in run support. And he's not too shabby in coverage when ranging overall in the back end. This would notch that Washington Football Club's defense up a few notches and allow them to be even more creative in how they decide they want to attack opposing offenses. Moving on to pick 20, the Chicago Bears select Tevin Jenkins, offensive tackle from Oklahoma State. A lot of tackles are going to go in the first round of this year's draft. Also, a couple reasons for that. One, it's just an overall very valuable position. And two, the fact that teams haven't gotten as up close and personal with a lot of these players, it's hard for them to get as comfortable. And I think offensive line is one of those positions that you're more comfortable transitioning to the next level. And if what you see on film looks great, I think teams are going to be more inclined to take that player there. So that's why I have the Bears taking Tevin Jenkins. Tevin Jenkins can instill some of that old school Bears attitude. He's a mean physical offensive tackle who can play up and down the line. He can kick into guard if you need him, and he'll help that offense immediately and provide some stability for the Red Rifle up in Chicago. 21, the Colts select Sam Cosmi, offensive tackle from Texas. The Colts, they're going to want to protect their newest investment in Carson Wentz, and Sam Cosmi is a great fit there in Indy. At pick 22, the Titans select Jayson Oweh, defensive end and outside linebacker from Penn State. Oweh is straight up explosive. Definitely still raw, but if developed by Mike Vrabel, he could really become a force on the edge. And with the loss of Jadeveon Clowney, I would expect the Titans to go defense here with this pick. At 23, the Jets are back up with the pick here, Caleb Farley, corner from Virginia Tech. The Jets need help on the defensive side, and Robert Saleh is going to look to build a dominant secondary of his own. He tried to do that with the San Francisco 49ers when he brought Richard Sherman over, and Farley, aside from his injury concerns, is a great corner prospect, so nabbing him here at 23 would be solid for the Jets. At pick 24, the Steelers select Alijah Vera-Tucker, offensive lineman from USC. Again, we've talked about this in the last one. They're going to be running it back with Big Ben, so you want to protect him and replace the retirement of the Pouncey brothers. So Alijah Vera-Tucker can do that for them here. At pick 25, the Jacksonville Jaguars are back on the board, and they take Terrace Marshall Jr., wideout from LSU. The Jags need to help Lawrence and grab him a weapon. And although Marshall isn't who I would select here if I were the general manager, I feel like the Jags may want a higher ceiling prospect. So I think grabbing, Marshall here, he significantly has the high ceiling of a Kadarius Toney or Rondale Moore, who are a little bit more limited, but can be explosive from day one. Marshall may need a little time to season, but his ceiling is higher. At 26, the Browns are happy here to grab Greg Newsome, corner from Northwestern. Cleveland needs help on the back end, and Newsome has some really high upside. He's fluid, has a great change of direction, and his speed, in terms of makeup speed, is great, but he's still raw. He can develop into a really nice corner given time and proper coaching, and I think he'll be given that in Cleveland. That's rare to say. I don't think anyone's ever said that before, but I think it's turning around there, so I think this would be a good pickup for them. At 27, the Ravens select Azeez Ojulari, defensive end from Georgia. The Ravens still need to replace Matthew Judon, who they let walk to New England, and Ojulari is frankly a steal this late in the draft, and he can help replace Judon immediately. He's powerful, speaking of Ojulari here, sets the edge well, and he can also hold his own as a pass rusher. So the Ravens can absolutely work with him and refine some of those pass rushing moves, and he could be a steal, like I said, at 27. At pick 28, the Saints select Asante Samuel Jr., corner from Florida State. They need help in their secondary, specifically at the corner position, and Samuel Jr. can help on day one. Play him at nickel or develop him on the outside. I fully expect the son of former great Asante Samuel Sr. to be a baller, just like his old man. At pick 29, the Packers finally get Aaron Rodgers some help, and they take Kadarius Toney, wide receiver from Florida. The Packers do have Devontae Adams and some other nice pieces on the outside, and yeah, they could definitely help add there, but throwing a playmaker like Toney into the mix for Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers, that may be in the cards for pick 29. At pick 30, sorry to break your hearts, Dolphins fans, but the Buffalo Bills will select Najee Harris, running back from Alabama. It hurts my soul too, but the fit just makes too much sense. Najee can step in on day one and be the lead back for Buffalo, and combined with Josh Allen, that could be deadly. It would be a great pickup for them there, and truly painful for us Dolphins fans. At pick 31, the Chiefs take a different offensive tackle from last time, Liam Eichenberg, offensive tackle from Notre Dame. Same as last time, their offensive tackle position is in dire straits, and we had them taking Dylan Radins from North Dakota State, and now we have the Chiefs going with the safer but still solid pick of Liam Eichenberg. He can be dominant as a tackle at the next level. And rounding out the first round, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Gregory Rousseau, defensive end from Miami. The rich get richer, and Rousseau does slip here compared to the previous mock draft, but not without merit. His film is kind of revealing some flaws, especially when compared to Jalen Phillips opposite him. But the product out of Miami has talent that is far too great to ignore this late in the first round. So there you have it. The second edition of the PhinsPod mock draft is now in the books. If you feel like I'm an idiot and you disagree with any of these picks, let us know in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube, and be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at PhinsPod to stay up to date with all of our draft coverage, which is gearing up, baby. We're getting close.
when they broke out the Wildcat with Ronnie Brown, that was been a while.
That was like 2008. Yeah. That was 2008.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute, but it feels good to be in this position where you're really pragmatically looking at what they're doing, at what has been built thus far. I think last year we were almost shocked because we didn't think we would get that close to a playoff run at this point in sort of the Coach Flores era. It was really exciting. So to be able to build on that now, not only through the draft, but what they did throughout the offseason too, I think is going to be really exciting for Dolphins fans. But because we are Dolphins fans, we are cautiously optimistic, always with that in the back of our minds.
Right.
That'll do it for us here today. Thank you all so much for listening to the PhinsPod. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want more of the show, check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/PhinsPod. For $2 a month, you can listen to bonus episodes, and the site has some other goodies as well. Link is in the description, or head to patreon.com/PhinsPod. Thank you all so much for the support there. And please remember to like the video if you enjoyed the show, and subscribe just so you never miss a chance to chat about your Miami Dolphins. Remember that the show is available on all platforms: Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts, and of course, here on YouTube. Continue the conversation with us over on Twitter and Instagram, as well over on TikTok at PhinsPod, and check out the site for news and content as well, phinspod.com. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your weekend, and until next time, stay safe. Love y'all.